Live, baby. Live.
Boom! What up? See that? What's going down? All right. Well, we are live.
Is that Big Ron on here?
There he is.
Yes.
Well, hey, finally. I know we talked about it. For a few weeks now, we got Kagy here, the local boy, and he's my neighbor, BMX legend.
Just hiding out from you.
Well, hey, let's see who's up in here. Let's see. We got Big Bird. We got Brian. What up? We got Monroe. We got Mix Tips. Eric D. Big Feist. Sky.
Damn,
Danny B.
Thanks, my man.
Yeah, we go. We got Fred. Dan. What up? Well, good. I'm glad everybody here. We got Jason jumping in. Well, hey, check it out. We're super excited to jump into this show tonight. Couple things. Obviously, we got Chad here, and like I said, I've been talking about it for probably the past 2 weeks because I kept messing it up because you had to reschedule.
Yeah, I was blowing you off a little bit, but then I think you jumped the gun a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and then when I was leaving like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, Chad's coming on next week. And then I'm like, no, he's not. He told me he couldn't come on to the week after. But this is it. So, hey, we got Chad on tonight. And a couple things before we jump in. The June 26th class, obviously. Hey, guys.
Are we resuming?
Are we back?
I think you won't be back. You'll be found in it.
Well, hopefully you guys can find us. Man, we've been having issues here with the internet for 3 weeks in a row, so I have no idea why it keeps jacking with us, but it has been jacking with us. So hopefully you guys...
Trent, we're working on it. We're turning things off. All our phones are off already.
Is it back?
Oh, no, you are here.
We're back?
Yeah.
Hey.
Monroe, got some Slayers.
All right, well...
We're rocking.
Hey, I don't know. Sorry for all the technical difficulties for the last 3 weeks. We seriously don't know what the issue is. But anyway, hopefully...
Clearly, we're not IT guys.
we were just,
So we're
we
good
don't
on
even-
2 wheels,
Yeah.
not computers.
All right, you're back. Everybody says we're back. All right. What I was saying was before we got cut off is the July 10th class or the June 26th class. We're trying to reschedule it to July 10th. So still waiting for the okay to lock it in with the local track. Trying to do it at Green Valley. So if I get the okay, hopefully I'll know by this week. I'll let you guys know. And there is a few spots that had opened up since we had to change that the weekend. So if you want to get signed up, go to RonnieFaisstMX.com to get signed up for that. And then other than that, we had last weekend off for the Outdoor Nationals. And this weekend, 4th of July weekend, is going to be Redbud. So looking forward to the Redbud race. And you guys know who you got. You picking anybody for Outdoors Nationals? You're coming over, too. We talked about that.
Are we supposed to come over?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
Are we going to do a pool? We're going to do like names in the
yeah,
hat?
we're doing. Hey, so
like
anyway.
our old style?
It's 4th of July weekend, dude. We're hanging. Moto at the Feist House. All right.
Stop on by.
But
neighborhood party.
let's jump in. We got Chad here. If you ain't following him, make sure you follow him at Chad Kagy. He is BMX legend, X Games medalist. Dude, we got to hear your story. But first off, let's just let everybody know like how we ended up. 'Cause funny story, me and Chad met each other, obviously, I don't even know how many years ago, 15 plus years ago, probably at either X Games or Dew Tour originally.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a day or two.
It's been a minute. And obviously we've toured together on obviously all the X Games, all the Dew Tours, and then we did Tony Hawk Tour together.
Not only did we do Tony Hawk Tour in 2005, but we actually came to Kansas City and did the arena here. That isn't even used anymore.
Dude, the funny story is I remember doing that show, and I went out. This show was in the winter. It was freezing.
It was freezing.
I remember thinking to myself, how do people live here? I thought that. I'm like, these people are nuts. Here I am.
But then, after that, we stay in touch, and I see on your social media, hey, I'm moving to Kansas. And I was like, yeah, it's a big state. I hope I see him.
Yeah.
And then a week later, oh, look, I'm moving to Kansas City. No way, we're going to hang out. He doesn't reply to any of my texts. Then I find out he doesn't even have that phone number anymore, so obviously he's ignoring me.
Your wife just got my new number.
Killing it. And no response, busy moving. And I see Ronnie post a video riding his bike back from the gym, and he crosses over this little bridge into a neighborhood, and I go, that looks really, really familiar. That looks right next to me. Hey, Ron, where do you live? And he goes, oh, I'm not actually in Kansas City. I'm south of Kansas City. I'm off of this street on a tiny little street called this. And I was like, yeah, cool, me too.
I'm like,
what do you mean,
what?
me too?
Yeah.
I always leave my house and I go right and I go around the block and leave the neighborhood. Had I turned left at all in the previous 3 months, I would have seen Ronnie's truck, his off-road truck, his dirt bikes, and everything scattered outside, getting it all organized and moving in. I'm just creature of habit. I always turn
Goes
right
the other
and
way.
everyone left.
Yeah, so he comes flying around. It does it again. Restart your router.
Yeah, you ever do that?
I feel like we did that last. Didn't we just do that?
Well, you
No, I
unplug.
told you before that we should do that.
You
did
unplug
it?
the router for 60 seconds.
Are we
And
back? Are we even live right now?
And if it keeps going, you call and then have them send a new signal.
I don't know. I think I might have went back.
Oh yeah, you.
All right.
Boom. We're doing tech
Hey,
right now.
dude, I don't know what the deal is. This is terrible. So we're gonna just wrestle our way through. It just sucks, man. We got my man on here, and we're getting jacked up. I don't mind like when it's just me, but this sucks when got this special guest here.
What's going on, Gavin?
All right, where were we?
DK, he can see me. We were, so I grew up West Coast, he grew up East Coast, and then at the beginning of our careers, we swapped, and I went East Coast because the BMX community and Woodward was out there. You went out to, what is it, Corona? Temecula?
Originally Canyon Lake, Corona, Temecula, but Southern California, 15 years. So we swapped, 15 years each, basically.
I went left coast, right coast, no coast, and you went right coast, left coast.
Or
no
maybe
coast.
I was there 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. So, hey, it goes by quick, and then we end up in the same neighborhood. What's the chances of that? Like, BMX, Moto dude, toured together, X Games.
Same street.
Yeah, just opposite sides. There's opposite sides of the cul-de-sac, basically. I'm in this cul-de-sac, he's in another one, but I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? But I mean, your wife's from here, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he ended up here, and obviously my wife was living here before we got married, so that's how I ended up back here. But cool story. Like I said, slim chances on that happening for two X Games guys.
I don't know. You seem to fit in around here, right? I mean,
Yeah,
covered
right.
in tattoos, finish up
Yeah,
the dirt
right.
bike, clean it, and goes cruising around with just shorts on and flip flops, and cops come rolling through the neighborhood. we got reports of some sketchy guy that's in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's funny. I made friends with some of the neighbors in the neighborhood, and one of the girls, that's what she said to me. She's like, the first day I saw you riding your bicycle, I called my husband and said that there was some guy, I think he's trying to break into stuff. I think he might have stole that bicycle he's on. So anyway, we're friends.
I got one leg tattooed, and everybody was looking at me funny
Yeah.
for the first 2 years.
I
And then
stirred up the neighborhood.
You show up, and I was like, yeah, add some color in the neighborhood.
I stirred him up. But hey, we're going to jump in here and let Chad just tell. Like, I want to hear his whole story because, dude, everybody's got a story. And, dude, you got a long career in action sports. I would say OG in the BMX world. Vert and Park, right? And then Big Air, or just Big Air and Vert? What were your specialties?
You go all the way back to the beginning. My first ever invite to X Games was dirt jumping.
See, he's got it covered. Dirt, and you did Park,
So
too,
I did
though.
dirt, then I did park. So I was doing dirt and park, and then I started doing dirt, park, vert, and that got to be way too much in one weekend. So I had to focus. Dirt got gnarly, and I wasn't riding it as often. So I went park, vert, and then when Mega Ramp opened up, I was like, I'm all about going fast and go high.
Huh.
So
And
I just-
you think that was when that came in and you were like, yo, this is my spot.
Yeah. I just wanted to go as fast as I could, as high as I could, and then eventually fighting gravity. Gravity wins, and that's a big ramp to
It's
lose
big.
against gravity.
It's moto size. We used to look over at it and be like, huh, the same size as our jump. Like, these dudes are rolling in. Hey, I got some pictures up here too. We'll pull up. How many gold medals?
4, like logistically, like I started looking at it and I go that I actually personally won 4. If I go overseas, you didn't count those, and I was on the U.S. team as a backup to Nyquist and Mira, and we got a gold medal. I don't count that thing.
You don't count it?
That's hard. That's like being.
So
I guess if you win a Super Bowl being the bench warmer, you still get a Super Bowl ring.
yeah,
It's just weird. I don't count
I
it.
understand what he's saying, but they still got gold medals. Like, so basically what he's saying is, like, when America was the biggest and the hardest. And sometimes we had international X Games, and sometimes not everybody was there. So if you won a gold medal there, That's what he's basically saying,
Yeah.
saying, hey, that one didn't count because so-and-so wasn't there. But, I mean, it's still an X Games medal, so I see where you're coming from. But at the end of the day.
Full throttle, everybody was there, yeah, we'd count it. But the way that I'm counting and doing my math, I've got 15 medals. And
That's a lot, dude.
4 of them are gold, counting it that way. If I go
U.S.
to
gold
just-
medals.
yeah.
So, and then how many international?
If I just go to absolutely everything that all my events were in, I lost track of that stuff. I won Asian X Games like 9 times.
Dude, that's a lot.
But we only had half the class that was there.
I got
so
you.
It was a little rough to qualify that one.
Well, I'm going to pull up a couple pics. Like, you tell your story, and I just want, while you're telling your story, give us the background, how you got into BMX, where you grew up, how it all started. And I'm just going to pull up some photos. So as he's telling a story, you can kind of just look at, and maybe you can even talk about some of these photos. But
There's so much old stuff in there. So this is a local park I found.
This is here?
Yeah.
Somebody,
that's in town.
I feel like someone commented on, I think I might have
on
posted.
your Instagram.
Yeah, my buddy Matt.
So this is Swarner. This is
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
435
Okay.
and,
See, he must, local boy recognize this.
this is a good one.
That looks a sick pic right there, dude.
That's
Just
actually-
styling.
So that's me riding in the mornings essentially by myself, and I just set my GoPro up and I yell, "Yo, GoPro, shoot a burst." As
it'll
I'm
do-
riding at it,
that's sick.
and it'll shoot a sequence, and I use self-portraits.
Huh.
That's my selfie. So I learned how to ride a bike when I was 5 years old, or 4 years old. Learned how to ride a dirt bike when I was 5. And I started racing my bike when I was 7, 8 years old, and got to know all my lifelong friends through racing. And one of my best friends is Joey Garcia. He ended up winning the second ever X Games. And here we are in high school, and I was not that good. In your head, you picture, you're like, oh, dude, I was so good. No, I wasn't. I worked hard at this stuff. I did some extra laps getting speed. If it didn't work, just go faster, man.
Yeah.
And Joey just paved the way for us. And I went, well, if he can do it, I can do it. It's just going to take me a while to get there. And he won 1996, I think. And it took me about 10 years to get my first gold.
1996.
Yeah. So 95 was first X Games. He won 96.
So you were at the very first X Games?
No, I wasn't there.
Okay,
So
okay.
I didn't get my first invite until X Games number 4 in San Diego. So I
What
turned
year would
pro,
that been? I'm just want to see how far
5,
was that.
6, 7, 8, 98 was my first X Games.
All right, so 99 was the first moto.
Yeah,
you were right
which
after. It was
was
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
So the next year, all right.
And I was still living in NorCal, so I did all the media, all the press. I did all kinds of stuff. So now we're jumping around. I did a stupid fashion show for Tommy Hilfiger, doing runway walking.
Dude, look at him.
Me,
He's a model, dude.
Nyquist, Colin McKay, Dave Mira, and we had a couple other guys in there. And I think the San Diego one, they had, I think Deegan did that one.
Really?
Yeah, it was
That's too
so
funny.
corny.
Figured Deegan
It was
get in
funny.
there for the model
Yeah,
shots.
it was really funny. So I went down to, at 17 years old, I went down to Seal Beach, California for an amateur contest for the Hoffman bike stuff, right? Ooh. And I show up 3 hours late and I miss registration. And they were like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I just want to ride the course. I don't care. I'm not really worried about competing.
Yeah.
And the registration guy goes, well, if you got $25 extra, I'll let you just enter a pro and you can ride the course and you don't have to enter. I had to go borrow $25.
Hey, that's
like,
what
no,
I'm
man,
saying. Everybody has a story, dude.
Can I
love
borrow
this story.
$25? Yeah. What are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to enter pro so I can ride the course. And I don't know if I'll compete. I had so much fun riding the course and riding with everybody and meeting essentially my magazine and video heroes.
Yeah.
I was just having a good time screwing around. I ended up getting 6th place in my first comp.
Pro comp.
First pro comp, I get 6th place, and
good,
I start freaking out, going, "Dude, I just won $400."
Yeah, isn't that
I was
funny?
like, big time.
Yeah, and light bulb goes off. Hold a second.
Wait
Wait
a
money at this?
So
like, hold on.
We stay the night, and the next day we had our morning planned out to go hit a couple skate parks and then drive 6 hours north to where we lived in Gilroy. And we show up to the skate park, we start riding, and Matt Hoffman and Mark Losey roll up, which everybody knows Matt Hoffman.
Yeah.
And Mark Losey's the editor of BMX Plus at the time, going, I'm here to do a photo shoot with Matt for an article. But since you guys are here, do you guys want to shoot? Like, what am I going to do? Tell you no?
Yeah.
You guys have no idea who I was until yesterday. So I start shooting photos with everybody. I'm riding with Matt, which is blowing me away.
Yeah.
And we stop our session for a little bit, and he walks up to me and goes, "Hey, I notice you're riding my wheels. If you ever need anything, here's the team manager's card. Give him a call." It's like, all right, cool. Me being a young kid, no idea what the hell I'm doing. I didn't need anything. My bike wasn't broken. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from the team manager. You ain't called us yet. Well, I didn't need anything right now. I work at a bike shop and fix my stuff. He's like, no, that was indirectly. Do you want to be on the team? Can we send you stuff? Like, did you just tell me Matt Hoffman wants to sponsor me? And Matt called me like a week later. Hey, how do you like the bikes? How do you like everything? That's great. Hey, we need somebody in Australia next month. Are you busy? Mm-hmm. No, hell no, I'm not busy.
Just boom.
And I went to Australia.
Touring the world.
The next.
Still searching. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
I think you guys have us again.
Sorry about this.
Somebody comment live number 3. Here we go.
I think we're back.
Somebody tell me.
You guys are back.
All right.
Boom, we're in.
So Australia, you were at Australia.
So I got invited to instantly go to Australia, and he's like, well, are you busy the next month? For what? You want to go to Portugal? Yeah, thanks for inviting me to be part of the team and then send me around the world on your dime to go represent your company, which I've always looked up to. Matt's been my hero, and now he's a good friend. So it was crazy how all that stuff turns out from an accident of my crew showing up to my house late and getting to LA to the contest. 3 hours late, I missed registration, and that kicked off my career.
That is crazy, dude. And, dude, if you guys don't know who Matt Hoffman is legend, and he's a Midwest dude. He's from Oklahoma.
Yep.
That's a couple of Midwest dudes from out here that are in your sport. We got...
how about this one? Our old announcer for Huck Jam.
He's from out here?
Rick Thorne's Kansas City boy.
Oh, you're right. I forgot that Thorne was the announcer. Yeah, so, and then the one I was thinking of... DMC.
Uh-huh.
Dennis McCoy. He's doesn't he live out here still though?
He's out here. He's northeast of the city.
Yeah.
He's been around longer than anybody.
Yeah, so you got some Midwest boys on the BMX skills out here in the Midwest. But anyway, what are you doing in this photo, dude? This is obviously from Nitro Tour.
So that's Nitro Tour.
Like I was looking at this when I found it online. I'm like, what the hell? Obviously, you're backflipping tail whip.
So initially I'd say backflip tail whip, but because I'm off center, I'm sideways. Usually that's what happens when I hit a second one. So on those tours we get
double tail
stuff
whip.
Starts getting super gnarly, and I did a backflip double tail whip, which is one of those rewind back. The first one I ever pulled on a real ramp was the final show of Huck Jam. I'm sitting up on top of that ramp where we were jumping over the vert ramp, standing next to Tony, and I go, Tony, remember how we've been up here every single show? And you keep saying, man, you look like you got a lot of time. This is that one. I think I got enough time to do another one. And I just dropped in. He was like, oh, I hear him in the background.
Dude, the Hawk tour was sick. Huh? That was a fun tour, huh? How many years did we do that tour? Because I was trying to think about it. Was it 3 or 5? 3?
That was by far the gnarliest tour I have ever been involved in. Dude. I only did the last one.
Oh, you did the last one?
So there were 3.
There was
and
3.
Then a year break, and then the 4th happened. And that photo of us being super old and
I wish I had a photo of that.
I love that.
Yeah, that's because we're starting to look like that now.
I actually got invited to do the previous tour, but it was the year right after I had broken my neck, so I wasn't up to full speed. And if I wasn't full speed, there's no way I could be 14 feet over the top of a triple stack of skaters and BMXers. That's two tours.
Yeah, that tour was super fun. Probably one of the best tours I've done.
Yeah.
How many months? 3 months on the road or 2 months?
It was odd because we did 6.
It was week shows. There was weekly shows. We were on the road during the week. Yeah. That's not normal. It's usually like the weekend show off, weekend show. We were doing shows like Wednesday nights, Thursday nights.
We were doing shows. The most we did, I think, was a 4 stretch, but it was mostly 2s and 3s with a day off in the middle with busting yourself across the country. It was 6 weeks of rehearsals in Tony's warehouse.
Yeah.
With like a 10-day break.
It was gnarly.
And with homework. I never had homework. Because
you had to remember your run.
This stuff and remember your timing, your music cues, and who not to run into face to face.
Exactly.
And then we went. I don't know why I remember this stuff. I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. And I remember we started in Spokane, Washington, and we did 4 days of rehearsals there and then kicked off the tour.
Yeah.
And went down the West Coast and then across. I want to say we were on the road for 6 to 8 weeks.
It was a while. I'd say it was minimum, yeah. It was probably 2 to 3 months.
And it was heavy. When you get beat up, Barry's packing you with ice at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, he was our
on
athletic
your bunk.
trainer. The dude was comedy, dude. He would rub you down with, remember that stuff was super, it's like oil, but it's super strong Chinese oil. And then he would ice you in the face.
Yeah.
He'd take a bag of ice and smash you in the face and then basically tie you down and ice you up.
But whatever he did worked, because I
comedy.
remember having from my hip to my knee jet black, just purple black bruises, barely walk, and he'd start rubbing and ice you at night.
Yeah, he was
take out
awesome.
that yellow and red bottle with a dragon on it.
Yeah,
and
it's Chinese
"Dude,
stuff."
What are you doing?
I was talking about it. Smelled, yeah, that was him, Mr. Miyagi style.
He's so good.
But that was one of the best tours for sure. And for the moto guys,
oh, speaking of moto guys, this is one of the tricks I stole from the moto guys.
I noticed that.
But you know what I didn't do?
Dude, this is pretty sick. Dude.
I didn't steal your trick and then rename it after myself.
They do that, moto. I've never named the name. Hey, you can go after hard on that one. Who in moto has their name? We got the heart attack.
He didn't want that, so I'll give him that one. But it was
my trick was Shaolin, so I didn't call it the Feistlin.
What was the one Metzger was trying to do? He was trying to rename
the Mick Metz. He had the Mick Metz. There was the heart attack, the Mick Metz. There was the Twitch whip. So hey, Twitch is in there. He's got the Twitch whip.
Militia March, the disco can.
Yeah. There was the
can. What are you doing? And Metzger actually gave me the best answer to that, and I just went, you know what? I'm gonna let it slide. I was like, come on, man, you guys name everything we do after yourselves. He goes, you really think saying a no footy? You think a no footy can's really gonna pull the chicks, bro? You got to name that thing after yourself. I went,
what?
You know what? I'm gonna give you that.
What did you just call it a cliffhanger flip?
Yeah, so that was a cliffhanger flip, but
that is sick. Look,
so,
dude, this is sick.
It took me a long time to figure out how to stand up all the way to make it work. I learned this from the motor guys too. They were on Nitro Tour. The back of my handlebars and the side of my head tube have grip tape on it from skateboarders.
Yeah, that's you learned that from us. Huh?
So it didn't slide. Otherwise, it was just sliding around in my pants. My bike could take off.
Well, here's the deal. Did you any gold medals with this trick? Big guy? Yeah, see? Yeah. Hey, I'm glad the moto guys played in your career.
I ran that one in Germany when we had the full Real X Games there that one year. I had a cliffhanger flip on the 70-foot jump to a flare tail whip at like 17 feet.
Jeez.
And rolled away with a gold medal.
Yeah, there you go. But the funny thing is we originally stole you guys' tricks. So it's fair trade-off. We would watch you guys, dude. Like,
so I got one.
Yeah, you got one,
All
and
right.
it gave you gold medals for good bonuses. So
you guys can take it. Keep the heel clicker.
Yeah, I know. That one's corny, but dude, we did. I mean, I feel like every one of our original tricks, they're remix tricks.
But
we watched you guys, and we were like, we're inspired
somewhere.
by you guys. So at least we gave you something. What? Any other moto tricks other than this? Did anyone do bar hop or like Shaolin or Cordovas? How about that's a motor trick? Anyone do a Cordova?
You know what? I have seen a couple people do that, but the only way that one really works is in a flip.
Yeah.
Because when you try to jump straight
on a bicycle, you automatically
when you come back, it flips you backwards.
Because the bike's too light. Huh?
Yeah, you weigh more than the bike. Where you guys can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Make the bike the platform.
Well, hopefully we don't get shut off here anymore because I want to get these guys to answer you some questions. But dude, look at this. Obviously, this is at Travis's house. I kept it up big. You guys don't need to see me.
So this is really funny.
Dude, you look like look at the height. Does it fit? Like, how high are you? Like, how did you get that high?
That's probably 40, 50 feet in the air. So that's my old truck. It's a 3/4 ton Chevy lifted on 35s, just to give you perspective. So, moto guys, that's just your go-to truck. That size truck looks that small down there. It was the ramp that we were designing and practicing to get James Foster and Jed Milden to do the quad flip. And they needed people to go out and ride with them. They're like, dude, nobody wants to do quad flips. Like, how do we get someone to session? So I'm out there playing around. It was hard to double flips because you would just over-rotate. You're in the air too long.
Dude, this is gnarly, dude. And you're just doing a big old seat grab right here?
Just a giant seat grab. So I got into that just to see how long I could stay there. I was probably in that seat grab for a good second and a half. Just hanging out.
How many did you double flip, triple flip your bike?
I triple flipped easy.
Yeah.
Because you just lean back a little bit.
Bicycle just clicking them off like nothing, huh?
The scariest part is how fast you go. Look at that roll in behind me.
I'm looking at that. You
can't even see the top of it. No. At the bottom of it, you're going so fast.
And there's a big airbag here.
Our builders and some of the local kids. So Travis has got all kinds of kids around him. And some of the local kids showed up on their mountain bike, and they're like, yeah, I just want to jump into the airbag. The G-forces at the bottom of that ramp were so strong that if you weren't ready for it or your legs weren't strong and seriously primed to pump it, everybody sat down. And the guys with the mountain bikes, when you sit down on the back tire. Straight off the side of the ramp and just barely hit the airbag. It was ugly.
Yeah.
We started cutting people off.
Yeah. I get it. I feel like people, even with the foam, I've never even jumped into an airbag, but even with the foam pit on the dirt bike, a lot of times people are like, yo, I want to come hit the pit. And I'm like,
I don't think you understand.
It's not as fun as you think.
It's not.
Like, dude, 75-foot gap, 40-foot height, travel 35 to a dead stop on a dirt bike is not as fun as you think.
We always call it the illusion of safety.
Yeah.
And it's a rough one for people who don't understand and don't get the concept. Like, oh, I want to learn how to flip. Let go of the bike upside down. Well, now it just tracks you, and you land, and it drills you in the spine or the back.
Or you jump off, the bike goes in, then you clip the bike. Have you seen anybody miss the pit?
Yeah.
Seen that one. Just missed the pit completely. Like,
they're not used to it because they hit the ramp and they G out and buckle.
Yeah.
I have surgery right here. I got a scar, and I was like, oh, how'd you do that? I'm like, I got to come up with a good story, something other than I crashed in the foam pit.
Yeah, right?
It's so bad. So this photo is so cool. This has so many stories behind it. This is in Bahrain, so that's in the Middle East, at a military base doing tours that we called Bikes Over Baghdad. I did them for about 9 years and go out and support the troops. And this was one of the very, very few bases, because it's in a civilized country, you're not in a war zone, that the troops that are out there have their families. So we got tons of kids out there. We never have that. It's usually just troops. And we build ramps, park Humvees, tanks, whatever we can, build the ramps over them, and entertain the troops with what they see on a daily basis. Change up Groundhog Day.
That's pretty sweet.
It's so fun.
What is this? Because I'm noticing your bars are backwards. Is this like where you spin the bars and rotate around the bike?
No. So previously,
or is this another tail whip?
This is a backflip tail whip. The previous one, I was sideways. This one's straight up and down, and the bike's straight back. So that one's just straight backflip tail whip.
So you're going this way, right?
So
which way is the jump going?
Well, wait, hang on. What's your camera? Your camera's all messed up, man.
I know.
You got me all backwards.
Which way are you jumping, dude? I'm trying to figure which way we're going.
On the landing is behind me right now.
I got you.
So I took off. I'm perfectly upside down, and my face is, man, that way. That way? Yeah, that way. Got me all reversed on the mirror thing. So I need to finish the flip, land on the bike.
I got you.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty sick one. Well, we're getting
Jason, what do you got? So this is an important one. Yeah, you know what? Hang on real quick. Trent, Street Bike Tommy did overshoot the foam pit because
let's pop him up here.
He was in the beginning, right? So I'll get that one. The next one was Trent.
Oh wait, I got the wrong one. Sorry.
So the next one was Trent. I was gonna do Jason. I'm gonna go back to Jason.
We're gonna get into the questions in a second.
So Street Bike Tommy, to the introduction to Travis and the whole Nitro Circus guys, was, hey man, do you think you could backflip a street bike? He goes, hell yeah, I could.
I remember this. Yeah.
And he hits it on the BMX takeoff, and his quick brat on a, I think it was 1,000 cc.
Yeah, a little more juice than they thought.
Compressed, did not go backwards, bucked him over the bars, and he shot over the back of the foam pit. What saved his life was Jim DeChamp cleaning everything up for filming. That's the spot right where he landed on his back, that all of the torch cut angle iron was all propped up back there, so he just would have been impaled. And Jim was cleaning things up so it looked pretty for filming.
Yeah.
He got rid of all that stuff, and he laid out all of the warped plywood. So the warped plywood,
so
flat plywood would have hurt. It was all warped.
So gave him a little cushion.
And he broke some stuff, knocked the wind out of himself. But
wasn't that in a video?
Yeah, that was the first ever Nitro.
Yeah, I remember. I think
so bad.
That one was gnarly.
So Jason, this one's...
Let's pop Jason up here for a second.
So this one's pretty cool. What was it like to struggle breaking your neck on a double backflip at Gravity Games, and then to overcome that trick and the first time you decided to do it again? So I swore off that trick for a long, long time.
What was the trick?
Double backflip.
Okay, yeah.
So in the beginning, it was me, Dave Mira, and maybe 2 other guys doing double backflips. So I was sending that sucker at contests just And we were riding 40-pound bikes, so it was a pain. But back then, I was early in on it, and I was running it. And I told one of the photographers, hey, man, shoot this sequence. I'm going to double flip. Gravity games, box jump. And it was like 10 minutes before the comp. And I launch it. Overshot, landed flat on my back. And my head hitting the ground, whipped my head forward. And when it came forward, the vertebrae hit together and broke. And I didn't know they were broken. So I was still trying to ride, but my bars were bent. My pedal
Broken
was
neck,
bent.
and you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man, I got to get this thing going. I got 10 minutes.
Dude.
And everybody's like, dude, you're in bad shape. So fast forward, I swore off that trick, kept on riding. It took me 11 months later, I was back at X Games. Because X Games was 2 weeks before Gravity, and then I broke my neck at Gravity. So pre-qualified for X Games, I was in X Games the next year, and actually rode better. So fast forward a bit, and I swore off the trick for a long time. I did a couple of them in the foam just so I can get it out of my system. And here we are on Nitro Circus Tour, and I was like, man, this is a gigantic 40, 50-foot resi mat. All right, I'm back in.
You're going for it.
Because I didn't have wood to land on. It freaked me out. It really did. But at that point, I had already come to grips with it and realized what I needed to do moving forward and the progression of me getting over that thing. What's really cool was that trick wrecked me, and then we brought it back, and now we're doing trains in Nitro Circus with like 10 dudes in a row, just back to back double. And then the last two we're talking triples. Like, it's dime a dozen now. We've got guys doing double backflips that barely know how to ride a skate park good.
But they're going to shred them off.
Because on Nitro, it's the contraption guys and the Godfrey kids, and like they're like, I don't know, what do I do? Well, make yourself smaller and tuck it in. All right, cool. And with the right training, right setup, yeah, we got this. It's not easy, but it's simple if you pay attention to what we tell you. I was able to use that trick and my injury to help so many different people recover from it. I get hit up all the time, still to this day. I broke my neck in 2002, I think, and I'll get people who write to me and go, hey, man, my brother broke his neck riding his motocross bike or riding his BMX bike 2 months ago, and people are saying that you recovered from it. Tell me that story. How'd you get back from it? Well, I didn't tell the doctor. Cool, man, you're right. I quit. I just fought through it. Yeah. And I've made so many cool connections just through my injuries. So when everyone's like, you ever regret your injuries? I hate them. But no, they serve their purpose.
Yeah, you've been able to inspire people with them. Well, hey, let's jump in before we run out of time here. We got a couple questions off, but I'm gonna scroll back to the top. So, if you're new here, put the question marks up just so I can find your question. That's how we kind of do it. And we'll scroll through and we'll just let you guys start firing some questions out. I mean, I'm going way back.
I saw some back in there.
Yeah, all right, here we go. What does this say, Ronnie? How to keep the track soft? The moto track? How to keep the track soft? Like if you're trying to keep the moto track soft, I would just say getting a good something to rip it with, like till it up, rip the ground up. If you got a hard pack track and you want to soften it up a little bit, just get a good tractor with a disc or a ripper and just water the crap out of it and just rip that thing up, or do it right after a rain or right before a rain. But that should definitely help. Let's see.
I saw one in there a little while ago. It was, what's your favorite trick to do?
Here it is. There it is. Here we go.
Oh, wait. Tips on a knack trick. All right. Is that MX?
No, this...
BMX?
I've seen BMX knacks.
We can run it.
Give him a tip. Give him a tip. Give him your tip, and I'll give him my tip. So go be it, because our tricks cross over. We do a lot of the moto tricks or BMX tricks.
So they cross over, but here's that difference we were talking about earlier. Because your motocross bike is so heavy, when you push yourself, your body's moving. Mm-hmm. When you push a knack on a BMX bike, you got to get that one pedal down, and then when you push through, the bike swings out, and you've got to keep pressure on that pedal. Otherwise, the bike floats out and starts doing a tail whip and takes off and goes around. I always found it easier to make the trick a little bit more complicated. Gets the trick to come back is I would do a knack, but push it out, and I'd take my left hand off and grab the seat. And then when I was ready, I'd just throw it back underneath me.
I got you.
Instead of just relying on the edge of my shoe to pull it back.
Yeah, they do that in moto too. Guys will do a knack and kind of grab the rear fender. I'm seeing them do that. Or they'll grab actually the same I've seen them do. It's almost like it's like a side saddle seat grab.
No-handed knack?
They grab
no-footed knack, right? So you just grab and you're floating?
They do a no-footed knack with their hand in the seat grab hole. Yeah. It's kind of like a side. I think they call it a side saddle bob.
Well, it depends on who's doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who named that one, side saddle bob. But so anyway, I would say for trick tip on a moto knack, I'd say lock your foot under your shifter so it keeps your inside leg from slipping off. Most of the guys rotate their right leg over the seat, so go shifter, pop it down the first, shift up the second, but then leave it there. Then that keeps your it lowers the chances of that inside foot slipping off, because that's how most guys crash learning knacks.
See? I'm worried about my foot falling off too. I just don't have a shifter.
Yeah, we cheat, dude. So lock it in there, and then same thing. You kind of have to work it. I learned it just a little bit of a whip, rotate the foot over just a hair, and once I got it over my seat, I slowly got better at it. I mean, I don't feel like I never really had that cool of a knack. That's why I always did a double knack, because my double knacks are way cooler than my regular knacks.
You guys go into a little bit of a whip, and it gets the bike and body separated. At least when I was trying them, if you start to get the whip going in there and then do the knack for BMX, the bike gets away from you
too fast.
So to keep yourself somewhat straight, you got to kick and twist the bike and then pull it back.
Yeah, the guys in moto who had the sickest looking knacks actually were the guys who didn't lock in. They would go tippy toe, but that's. You ever see Travis's knack?
Yeah.
Travis has got a sick knack, but look at his toe. His whole foot's rotated on the toe, bikes out. So basically, they whip it, do a whip, and once they whip it, then they take their foot over and rotate it out. But it is, dude, I've seen guys get ragdolled on that with their foot slipping off. Yeah. And if you don't know how to do it,
makes a lot of sense. You just got to figure out how to whip.
Yeah. So if you can do a whip, once you do a whip, you just let the bike rotate around let your foot rotate around the bike while you're whipping it, and you'll have a big knack. But beware of that inside foot. I've seen people get crushed.
Marshall,
where's Marshall?
Wait, hang on. So we got yeah. All right. Five? So Marshall, next one down,
right here.
He's looking at. Curious to get my thoughts on BMX Park being in the Olympics and the potential for events like Dirt, Vert, and Big Air. So I got on the Olympic committee in 2001 trying to get Olympics in so that I could represent the United States.
Dude, that makes sense.
I was fighting for it, and it just took forever. The politics that are involved in this is kind of bonkers. I think it's a new level for the sport. You're always going to have people on two sides of the fence where they're going, that's not core, that's not real BMX. And other people who are like, I don't care. I want to be the best in the world, and I want to make this my living. What better way than jumping onto a Wheaties box? I mean, as soon as you represent the United States or your country, all of a sudden you've got funding, you've got sponsors, you've got the ability. I just don't want all of BMX to then start revolving around nothing but how do I get to qualify for that? There's going to be a sector of underground guys, street guys, video guys. It'll still have its core essential element to it. But as far as BMX, I mean, action sports in the past few years have really had a slow decline, and we're starting to see it climb back up. Sponsorship and stuff like that. We're struggling with the economy. I think this is going to kickstart it and really get it going. And I'd love to see more stuff. I'd love to see Mega. I'd love to see Dirt, Vert, stuff like that. Vert's always the easiest one for the general public to understand because it's contained. It's who goes higher and who does more tricks, as opposed to a park course. Such a wide variety that it's opinions on what you really like to do, and the judges have to weigh in heavy on that and explain it well.
Yeah.
So I think it's a
use
good
of course, technical.
Exactly. It's going to open up to everybody else. It's going to take a while for it to happen, not just 4 years. Like, oh, that was great. We're going to have everybody. So I think it will open up the door, and I think it's a good thing.
Dude, I think it would be awesome. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We just went to the museum. There's a museum in Colorado Springs when we went out to visit Mills. And it's sick, dude. And basically, Shaun White, trying to think who they had a BMX. So BMX racing got in.
Yeah.
So because they had I remember just seeing the bikes and that's up. But Shaun White and who's the snow
revolutionized.
There's another snowboard girl.
Or Winter Olympics and increased viewership, and they want that for summer. And that's why skateboarding and BMX are getting added. And they started with BMX racing. And I really think they were attempting to get that same demographic, but racing doesn't.
It's different.
It doesn't click the same as getting freestyle. It's a different aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree. Different, little bit different from the BMX racing to the.
Ronnie have BMX. I'm gonna get him on a BMX bike at the skate park with me.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me do it. I got a little BMX skills in me. Not much, but a little bit. I used to like riding BMX dirt. When I first moved to Cali, I used to ride BMX dirt all the time.
We used to take
So fun.
Travis and Pastrana and Kerry Hart and put them on BMX bikes and mountain bikes, dirt jumpers, to learn how to do backflips and learn how to like place your front wheel where it needs to be and start to spin to understand how to get more BMX tricks onto a motocross bike. Learn how to do it here. And Woodward had trampoline where they'd set them up in like the bungee with the straps on them, getting them to do 360 flips and stuff like that.
So, dude, talk about that for a second, because I think that's probably such an advantage for, like, you got to live at Woodward, which is like,
so
just tell them, explain what it is, because some people might not even know.
Okay, so
it's like
Woodward Camp. I went as a camper when I was a kid. I was in high school and I went, and I thought it's Disneyland for action sports. So if you're a skater, a BMXer, now it's scooter, inline, and then the other side of it, which was kind of a perk at the time, still is, it's gymnastics and cheerleading too. So it's not just dirtball dudes in a skate park.
Yeah.
And there's moto ramps and the guys that are all into it. There's a track.
And this is in Pennsylvania.
So
the main one. The main
middle of Pennsylvania, and that's the only one.
So you basically lived there. That was your training spot. You and
when
Kevin,
I moved
right?
there, it was the only one that was there.
Yeah.
So I moved out there in 2001, and I was planning on just spending the summer. So here's another, hey, listen, you showed up 3 hours late, turn pro. And I turned pro. I went to go live out there for 3 months because the condo my mom owned, she decided to sell it. And the skate park that I had in San Jose shut down, ramps are gone. I had nowhere to ride, nowhere to live. And I went, I'm going to go spend the summer in Pennsylvania. Well, the summer turned into 16 years because I got there and actually lived behind camp in one of the camp's houses. So I'm 1 mile from camp.
Yeah.
I'd go in for a morning session, go home for lunch, go in for an afternoon session, go home for dinner, sometimes even go back for a dinner session. And it's a camp completely packed full of everybody that wants to ride. So here's 250 BMX kids every week and a stack of up-and-coming pros that are the staff, and then the elite pros that are there, visiting pros and resident pros. I had the best of the best to ride with every single day.
Yeah, it was like a hub. It was a hub for you guys. Kind of like Temecula was the freestyle
exactly
hub.
Why I went to the East Coast and you went to the West Coast. But in 3 months, I went from being on a good day I could get 3rd to 5th, but usually I was 5th to 10th, 12th.
Yeah.
3 months later, I did not miss a finals, and I had won a couple of contests.
And
the light bulb went off, and I went, you know what?
It's from waking up every morning session afternoon sessions, evening sessions.
This is going to be my career. I need to hang out with these people.
Repetition.
And I need to ride every single day.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And I stuck around, and it worked.
That's how, dude.
I made it 20 years.
Dude, every top dude that I know in every sport, that's what they do. Their life's dedicated to practice. That's what they wake up, they ride, train, whatever their sport is. It's a daily thing. It's every day. Sometimes twice a day, like you said.
But that's the stuff that nobody else sees, right? And I got these comments, and I'm sure you guys did too. I got comments that was like, "Oh, it must be nice. You won X Games. Cool. 50 grand in 2 minutes. Awesome."
You're like,
I was like,
dude,
no.
It took 15 years, actually.
So the previous 20 years of me breaking my body and, the hum of those fluorescent lights inside of a warehouse because somebody forgot to bring the iPod.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of those cold winters inside of a warehouse by myself or with like 4 dudes.
Yeah.
Those are the things you don't see.
And that camp basically had ramp, foam pit, resi. It had everything, right?
They invented the foam pit.
Yeah, so basically he had a spot that had everything you needed. Like you basically had everything you needed to progress was right in your backyard. That dude, that's such a huge
And
I would, if I was a BMX dude, I'd have moved there too.
But I didn't pay for it.
Yeah,
in California,
even better.
Guys, I'll be back in 3 months. Don't worry about it.
We're
going to find our own skate park. We're going to build ramps. And I went, hang on one second. The skate park I like is about $1 million. And somebody else paid for it. It's perfect. And during the winter, I can turn the heat and light on. I don't have to pay the bills.
Yeah, you guys are laughing.
Hey, can I get a set of keys? I'm gonna buy a house. I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, right.
I'm sticking
I know.
around.
We were like, hey, we need a foam pit. You want to chip in on this?
Yeah,
And like you chip it in. Well, all right. No one else can touch it. That's our rules in the beginning. Whoever kicked in on it could ride it. If you didn't kick in, don't touch it. And I remember when a couple people kept trying to sneak into it. We would be like, hey, so hit the pit. People used to get pissed. Don't let him hit the pit. He can kick in on it.
Nah, chains across it.
Yeah. Because, hey, back in the day when the flip came out, if you had the flip, dude, it boosted up. If you went to Europe, the show-up fee, so it was kind of like, yo, don't be just giving the flip out to anybody because it really changed, put you on the podium in the early days, and it boosted up your pay at overseas big time.
Mel, thanks. Appreciate you. That's Brian asked earlier what my favorite trict to do is.
Where we at? We got this one.
So the Ronnie
Trent?
Mel, next one down. Right there.
I missed it.
Okay, so
Sorry, dude.
earlier, Brian was asking, what's your favorite trick to do? And I had a couple of different tricks and different ramps. That cliffhanger flip was my favorite jumping trick to do at the end. Backflip tail whip just had this weird centrifugal force that it worked perfect for me. Whatever my body shape, size, trick style, that one worked. On a vert ramp, I did this trick where it was a Superman seat grab, and then I'd do an Indian air, and when I'd kick, I was backwards, or maybe the dyslexic kicks in, and the way I would kick, my foot would go straight up in the air. So it was like this crazy yoga position thing where my bike got sideways and my foot went straight up in the air and I was able to come back down onto it. Somehow that whole contraption worked because everybody else that rides vert kicks down and it changes the dynamic of the trick and looks totally different. That was one of my favorite tricks to do.
That sounds awesome.
It's like jumping, vert trick, quarter pipe trick, and there's a few other stuff in there, but we've got one up here.
Yeah, Trent, I missed that one.
Trent, the hardest.
We'll jump.
How hard was it starting pulling
back.
off a tail whip, triple tail whip?
Triple tail whip, dude.
Trent, that one was so hard that I probably landed about 20 of them on a resi.
Before you sacked up and went for it?
And I sacked up and I went for it. And I'm in vert best trick. So at X Games, we actually had an event, best trick, and they ended up cutting it because we all got knocked out. And they didn't want to ruin everybody for the rest of the comps.
Yeah.
So I'm in, and I'm in second place. And then Mira drops in, and he runs something, and he jumps into, I think it was 540 double tail whip, and he jumps into
540 double tail whip. Do you guys follow that?
So he's
picture 540,
trying to come
and now he's doing
down.
2 tail whips.
So he jumps into, so I did a flare and double tail whip over a channel, so over the gap, the rolling.
Yeah.
And I land it, and I'm in second place. Dave pumps me down to third place. I'm like, oh, it's on now. I got this. 50-50 maybe. Never pulled one on a real ramp. And I sent my first triple whip. Yeah, I fell asleep.
Oh.
So I got knocked out on that one, and then I tried it again during a dew tour, and I got knocked out on that one too. So
2K.
I retired that.
Hey, so I get it.
I did a bunch of them on resi.
Sometimes you just gotta say, you know what, that trick, I'm gonna scratch that one.
Coco ran them pretty good. We had a couple other guys. As bikes got lighter, they got easier.
Dude, you gotta be just yeah.
But the bikes got light enough that it made me feel uncomfortable.
Because the lighter, the harder
unstable.
the ride, in my opinion. Because I rode BMX dirt. If I was on a light bike versus a heavier bike, I had more control on a heavier bike.
Yeah.
When I on the light bike, I was always like, yeah.
So you get some stability, the centrifugal force, the rotating weight of your wheels. As soon as we went to 36 spokes instead of 48 and Kevlar tires, so they didn't have the metal bead in them, it dropped our wheel weight in half probably.
And it makes a big difference.
The first month, I'm floating everywhere, getting all super twitchy.
The squirrely, I get it, huh?
Once you get yourself used to it, I was comfortable riding a bike that was right around 17 and a half to 18 and a half pounds, somewhere right around there. We had some of the guys out there with 14-pound bikes. I jumped on them. They're these sketchiest, twitchiest little things. I'm like, I can't jump a mega ramp 70 feet and trust this.
Yeah, it's too
But
light.
I also a gust of wind, and all of a sudden I'm floating away.
Yeah.
And the guys that were doing that stuff, doing triple whips, they're cranking out quad whips now. Because the bikes weigh nothing, and you tap your brake to get rid of the rotating weight, and it makes them spin faster. I didn't know that at the time.
Huh.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that is nuts. But it makes me, it's really similar to moto. And when I went to 450, I was like, man, the heavier bike's way better. Like, because that was one of our, we were like thinking like, oh man, it's heavier than 252 strokes. It's going to be harder to flip. Oh, it's going to be hard to do your tricks. dude, everything on the 450 was easier. It was more stable, so it stayed in
I'm gonna
place
take
when
your
you jumped
advice on
off of
that.
it.
I don't have an opinion on that one. You're on your own.
What's that?
Flipping a 450
Oh,
versus
yeah.
the 250.
It's easier. It flipped easier. I preferred the
Flipped
heavier
any
bit.
bike.
And the thing is, if you would try to go back and ride your 2-stroke after riding your 4, you felt like that. You're like, dude, this thing's way too light. Felt unstable.
Just felt awkward.
Yeah, it felt squirrely.
All right, so
Let's see who else we
hang
got.
on.
Here.
Are the bikes that heavy for pros, or were they? Okay, so back then,
Is this DK?
Yeah, so
DK.
back in my early days, the bikes were not as advanced as they are now. We were using worse materials, and we always thought, hey, make it stronger, bigger, heavier, it's going to last longer. And our bikes were between 30 and 40 pounds. And now we're just talking about somebody's got a 14-pound bike. Of course they're going to spin faster. I mean,
That sounds crazy.
You used to have people that you'd turn pro and they'd be like, oh, man, I can't do that trick. I'm not big enough. I haven't gotten strong enough. Like, all right, cool. Well, when you turn 18, you'll be bigger. Start going to the gym. You get Kevin Robinson guys where you're just like getting all yoked so that you can actually throw your bike around. And then
Kevin was yoked.
It really shifted. And when the light bikes came, we started seeing kids that were still in high school that were just killing it. And you're like, well, where'd you come from? You're 15 years old.
No, there's some gnarly dudes in BMX.
You're doing bunny hop 540s. What the hell is going on? So yeah, they've shifted over the years. My old bikes, my old frame, my signature bike, I still got a bunch in the garage. They weigh more than any frame and fork now. And then when they get frame fork handlebar combo with bearings and the stem, my frame used to weigh more than that. So
I think this might be how to do a knack. Did we answer that one already?
Yeah,
I know we talked about.
We did our techniques on that one.
All right, we got it.
You have any funny stuff?
Here's Mel.
Others on tour? Oh, of each other?
Funny stuff.
Funny.
Well, let's see. Chad was on the good bus. I was telling Mel about this. We were on different buses because I'm like, Chad was on he was on like the adult bus. Everyone was like serious, went to bed early.
With
like you're on
parents.
Tony's bus.
I was on Tony's bus.
I was on the wild bus with all the partiers.
I was the young
Deacon,
dude.
Twitch, Mira.
And the dudes on his bus were always rolling dice,
Yeah, we had the party bus.
staying up late, and they had the rule nobody could join the bus for more than one stop. And I had the dad bus, so I had all the guys with kids.
You were with
Andy
all the
Mack,
yeah. He had all
and
the
it was
married.
I don't know, dude.
Were you married back then or no?
No.
And you were on the married bus, so you were hanging out with the adults. See, I was hanging out with all the squirrely kids. I had the single bus.
Of all the BMX
But what else?
guys,
What else? I mean, I could probably think of. Zarisky always had fun. Remember when he would steal our candy? He would tell him a story.
How about this one?
He would steal our candy on Halloween.
Trying to keep everybody healthy. His thing was you have to drink Coors Light because it's the healthiest, cleanest beer there is. And
This is our trainer. So Barry Zarisky.
I'm gonna ice.
I wish I had a
you
picture of him, dude.
all
You
the
guys,
time.
he's
Giant
hilarious.
mustache, always swinging a towel. He wanted us to eat raw garlic.
True, that's funny. I forgot about garlic.
And he would slice up his garlic
He did.
super thin while we're still finishing up the show. And he would sneak raw garlic underneath the pepperonis and underneath the mushrooms on the pizzas that would get delivered to us. And he would try to hide all the other drinks and just leave Coors Light in the coolers. Be like,
He was classic.
come on,
But
Barry.
he came into our bus. It was Halloween. We were obviously on tour, and we had a bowl of candy. I don't know who. Maybe I think our bus driver just put it out.
Just nice guys on the tour.
Dude, he came on, grabbed it, and threw the whole thing off the bus, dude. Just candy just flew across the parking lot. We're all like, Zarisky, dude, like, what are you doing? He's like, no, you don't need that. Yeah.
But other tours, that was my first real big tour, so I was kind of straight-laced and trying not to ruffle feathers so I can get back
You were
on.
trying to.
But when I
he
got
was
on
behaving
Nitro
himself.
Tour,
The moto guys are out of
nothing
hand
but
always.
fun and games on that stuff. We were hiding bikes. We were.
I never got to do that tour.
Oh.
And you see, look, you kicked it into gear after all.
Oh, we had so much fun. Just wrecking people. We also had off time where we were filming reality shows. So all the fun stuff you do in between shows, we got for free. Hey, you want to go dive with sharks? Hey, do you want to go skydiving? Yeah, we're filming a reality show. Give it to us for free. Hey, tow us on a knee board behind a 700 horsepower Humvee in a dune.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That sounds like a great idea.
Who was the? I was just trying to think. Who was the? It was Burquest and Hoffman. Weren't they like skydiving like half the tour?
Always.
Yeah, they were fully into that.
Matt always traveled with his so he had his skydiving chute, but he had a paraglider, the chute, and he traveled with his propeller, and he sat on a gas tank, and he went out flying around places.
Yeah.
I mean, the winter tour we were on, no, he didn't do that. But everywhere else we went.
No, he was into that.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, B-Dub's here. This is one of our homies. Ubi Dusky made it. Hanging. We got Jason. There, we got Jason. Jason, it's our buddy.
Who's the guy that motivates everyone to elevate the
Wait,
sport?
what are you reading? Did I skip one?
Fred Kitchen.
Oh, I missed Fred. Sorry, dude. Sorry, Freddie. It said right here. And then we'll jump back to Jason. And we'll go a couple minutes since we got cut off, since we got good connection.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah,
I'm taking these guys out to dinner.
Yeah, no, we're taking you out to dinner.
We're making you work for it then. Who's the most motivating, craziest, most motivating guy? So we've got a handful of them. TJ Lavin's always the happiest dude out there.
Lavin was cool.
He
got hurt too, huh?
Yeah, but he's always the guy that would pat you on your back, and he helped teach me a mindset, which I had the mindset but didn't have words to describe what it was. You always want to win, but you don't want to win because your friend crashed or something bad happened to somebody. So something that came across, he probably said it in a much better way, like he was doing an MTV show or something. But he said, I want you to do the best you could possibly do. And I still want to beat you, but if I don't, I know we both did the best we could, and we're all going to come out on top because we're boys. And I was like, man, see, I want to be friends with everybody on top of the ramp. Mm-hmm. And Michael Laren's one of those guys. Although he doesn't seem it personality coming out, Simon Tabron was always the supportive guy that was out there.
He's a good dude. He's from London, right? London?
Yeah, and he always supports everybody and pats everybody on the back, and he's more of a not a showy. Like when we go on tour, we call we're being monkeys. We're being circus monkeys. You're cheering for the same trick that somebody did 700 times.
Yeah.
He's going to cheer for you, but he's going to do it once the cameras turn off and shake your hand and be really proud of you, that kind of thing. But, I mean, really being that motivational guy, TJ Lavin for the BMX side of it, and Travis as the moto guy that will support anybody because he's like a goofy 7-year-old at all times.
Yeah. I think coming from being a racer and then obviously being a part of watching freestyle motocross pioneer and develop into a sport, we looked at skate and BMX, and we really appreciated how the skaters a ton, but you guys as well. You guys, when someone did something sick on the ramp, dude, everybody like backed them up. They slam and they're like
coping and going crazy.
Yeah, like getting pumped. So we would look at that because in moto, if you watch sometimes, even today, when the moto guys, the racers, they get off the track, sometimes they don't even look at each other. They'll ride right by. Every once in a while, they show a little love. But dude, it's so like. So I feel like as a moto guy coming in and having that racer background where everybody, you're not really. It's not like like, hey, high five, bro. It's more like, bro, we're battling.
But think about the mentality that goes into that. And I totally get where that is, because there's a couple of guys in BMX that I butt heads with because of the mentality that's there. We were early pioneers of it. That wasn't a career choice on career day at school. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, cool. What are you going to do? Well, I guess I want to be a jet pilot and a veterinarian. All right, cool. Just like every other kid. Being a BMXer, being a motocrosser, being a freestyle guy, it didn't exist. So you were just riding with your friends. So when you started to elevate, it was elevating with everybody to make something. But now there's actually a choice where kids see it online. They see it in X Games on TV, and they're like, dude, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a pro. And when it comes to that, the competitive edge just sometimes takes over. Yeah. And you can tell when that happens because unless you're really, really, really good, that competitive edge is not something a sponsor wants to deal with. And they just...
No, I know I saw it. I know I've talked about it with some of the other guys. I'm like, man, the moto guys ain't as like, supportive as the group as you see like the skaters and the BMXers. So we, as freestyle guys, we try to bring that into the freestyle culture. We're like, let's show love when people do something sick, not to like turn your head and be like, oh, dude, now I gotta go learn that because that's
like, come on,
yeah, like, oh, dude, now I gotta go do this now. But anyway, I feel like we saw that from you guys, just supporting each other and showing love and hyping each other up. And I think it should be like that because me and Mel talk about that. Sometimes when I see dudes come off the track and they just ride right past each other and don't acknowledge each other, I'm always like, man, like, I wish it was just, I get it. We're competitive. They're competitive and they don't want to talk to some guys, but I don't know. At the end of the day, we ride dirt bikes and we did it because it was fun and we should we should be cool.
I always tell people, don't take yourself too serious. You're riding a little kid's bike for a living.
Exactly. Like, come on.
That's a good point.
Exactly. Like, dude. Anyway, let's see. We'll take a couple more and we'll wrap it up.
Dude, Jason.
Who do we got?
Yeah,
Jason.
Next one, right
there.
there.
Let me make sure we miss
so,
Jason.
the feeling of winning my first medal, or the first time I ever won X Games, both of them are monumental for me. My first medal was my second X Games. First one for you in San Francisco.
Okay.
Right?
1999.
Wasn't that one? Or no, it was my next one.
So you
it was
2000.
2000.
2000.
So second year in
and that was
San
in
Francisco.
Philly, right?
It was San Francisco.
So
second year in
2001
San
was
Francisco.
Philly. Okay.
And I got to stand on the podium with two of the biggest BMX names that I had looked up to forever. And I got third place. And
Who was it?
So second place was Jay Miron, Canadian
Okay.
Beast. And first place was Dave Mira.
Well, here,
And
just to keep talking.
it was crazy. So Jay looks over at me, and here we are standing on the podium as equals, as friends. And he looks over at me and goes, "Let's lift him up." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And here we are lifting Dave up on the podium, and it was just this crazy, surreal feeling for me that I was like, "Dang, bro, I made it."
Yeah.
I'm standing on the podium with my heroes. I'm gonna cherish this thing forever. And I look over, and Dave's doing his photo poses because it was another gold medal for him.
Yeah.
And
He's got,
Jay,
like, how many?
Jay's got the craziest mentality on his medals. He goes, "I live for the moment, and I'm here for my paycheck and the medals. I don't care for another trinket." So he takes the photos, and I'm going, "I'm going to cherish this thing forever." He grabs that thing, points at the crowd, and launches it in the crowd.
No way.
He doesn't own any of his medals. He
What?
launched every single one of the medals
Really?
he ever won
That is
straight into
crazy.
the crowd after taking the photos for the podium.
No way.
Fell over.
That's
and my first
crazy.
gold, I just about fell over for my first ever gold.
I bet. What? So what? This is obviously you winning a gold. What year? What event? And I mean, dude, look who he's up against right here. This is like when I found this picture online, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like this is Mir right here.
So,
and the dude's a
you're
beast.
gonna-
How many medals does Mir got?
Ah,
Like one of the most decorated X Games athletes, not just in BMX,
not just BMX, but
athletes.
ever.
Like
So,
this dude's had so many medals.
Last
I mean,
time I checked,
he might have
I'm,
more than
I'm
Deegan.
tied for third for most medals in BMX.
There you go.
He's in first place by a long shot.
And then this is Kevin Robinson.
And Kevin Robinson,
one of like
so-
your closest friends. You guys lived together.
Well, he was the reason I made it out to Pennsylvania.
This
So-
dude was juiced. He was just yoked.
So Dave, this is Dave's first year riding Mega Ramp, and he was like, "I'm gonna
so
go
this is
in, I'm
Mega
gonna
Ramp.
win, I'm doing this," and he jumps in, and we're inside the Staples Center, no elements, no sun, and we were just pinning it, and I'm in first place, going into final round, and Dave's coming up, and I'm talking to the guys. I'm like, "All right, cool. So I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna win my gold medal, and if nobody's beat me by the time I go for my last round." I pumped up my tires extra hard, and I was like, "I'm gonna pin it so hard.
Makes you go faster, right?
I'm gonna beat the high air record at the same time I get a gold medal." And I was like, "I'm kind of scared of the scaffolding lights. No one's gone
Clip
that
'em.
high. Do you guys think you could raise those about 5 feet for me? If I hit those, I'm dead." So ESPN raised those. They got everything prepped. Dave drops in right before me, and he bumps into first place by a quarter point. I was like, "Come on, man!"
The pressure's on.
So I drop in, and I was like, "I'm canceling out the high
These
air
are the
thing."
best. These are the best contests to watch.
And I drop in and I do my run, and it was backflip tail whip to flare tail whip, which, yes, I know if anybody's tracking out there, I won with that run twice.
Say the tricks again.
So
Repeat.
backflip tail whip on a
backflip
70-foot
tail
jump,
whip on the big jump.
the big one, and then
Into the and how big? You got to explain this quarter pipe. The
quarter
is
pipe is
gnarly.
27 feet tall.
27
So
feet tall to the top.
if you're
And
ever
then-
gonna die doing anything on Mega Ramp, it's the quarter pipe.
yeah,
because
it's so
it will
gnarly.
ruin you. And
then how many feet out? So Twix are 27 feet quarter pipe, and then how you guys get out? How far?
That was my highest ever flare tail whip, and I was 18 feet over the top of it.
18 feet. So do your math. How high is off the ground on a bicycle?
And
It's
my highest
gnarly.
ever just regular air was 21. So I went for it and I landed perfect right at the top of the ramp. We call it stickers, where the X Games
Dude.
stickers are. And I land so smooth, and I surpassed him by a half a point. Well, he and I are both on DC shoes at the time, so he's not excited about this.
I can tell. Look at the.
We went and did our
Dave
press
doesn't like to
conference.
get second.
No,
We
he
know
doesn't
that
like to-
about
he
him.
doesn't
He's
like to
a
lose.
winner. Yeah.
So
He
he
don't
goes
like
to
second.
he goes to the press conference with me, and we do it. And he makes a couple comments, and this is just Dave, because I learned from him how to win, how to lose. And we go to the steakhouse in downtown LA. I can't remember what it was, Ruth's Chris or something like that. And DC's taking care of it. And this is like one of the funniest Dave stories. He looks over at me and he goes, "Kagy, I know you got a gold, but this is my first ever Mega Ramp event, and I'm going to order the wine, and I'm ordering Silver Oak to celebrate my silver medal. because they don't make gold oak, buddy. Celebrating me tonight.
He's a
I just
good
started
dude, man.
Laughing so hard.
He
I
is
was
a
like,
good dude. He was on.
"Come here, man."
We got some good memories from him, dude. Well, that's pretty sweet, dude. I saw this photo online, and unfortunately, neither of these dudes are with us no more. They have both passed, but just legends in the sport have brought just a lot, dude. Just imagine, what these guys have brought to BMX Vert and just BMX in general. Like, dude, and
That's groundbreaking right there. Those
yeah,
two guys.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. When I saw you standing in the middle of them, I'm like, that says a lot right here about dude.
It's one of those moments that
You
I
did
can't
big
forget.
things, dude. Look where you're standing in that photo. I'm like, come on, Kagy's beating the best of the best, dude. Well, let's. I don't want to go too long. We got V Dub here. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything. So V Dub throwing a little super chat. So thanks. It says missed your birthday. Go get yourself. Wait. Why didn't that pop up? Maybe it's under. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure. There you go. Hey, well, good looking out, V Dub. Appreciate the super chat. We'll go celebrate tonight. We'll go celebrate, brother. All right. Well, let's just see if there's anything else. Let's just maybe jump on one more here, and then we'll wrap it up. So we're going a little long, but I just wanted to kind of make up for the little, technical issues we had. But what do you got here?
Hardest one to pull off? Yeah, that special flip. There's only a couple of guys that have ever done that on a BMX bike, and I tried a lot of times. You know what the special flip is?
I don't.
It's similar to the Corolla kind of thing. So you leave the bike going straight and leave it, do a full backflip, and then grab back on.
Oh, wow.
And Greg, not being a BMXer, somehow figured that trick out, just jumping into the foam pit at Travis's. I couldn't figure it out, man. My bike just kept on disappearing.
Just sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems
that
hard.
one's brutal. We got a couple of guys that can do it, and now the one that they've shifted instead of them doing that is our Willie doing a bike flip. So he flips his bike forward and then catches back onto the bike. And
I've seen that one. That one's pretty sick, dude. I've seen that one.
I've seen him try. He does a bike flip and he tucks a back flip. So he's trying to do a back flip while the bike's front flipping and somehow time it to catch back on.
That's gnarly.
That kid's on another level.
Yeah, there's always those athletes and those guys who are just one notch. They're just doing things. You're like, dude, where's this guy at? He's just killing it. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. I think we got everybody's question in. So, hey, thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being flexible with all the issues. Me and Mel are going to definitely try to figure out what's going on so we can fix that so we don't have any more problems. And hey, thanks to Chad hanging out. Neighbor,
Okay.
Appreciate it. We'll have some dinner.
We'll fix the problems. We're going out to dinner, and we'll set up another one, come back.
Yeah,
and talk some other random stories.
Yeah,
we'll do some funny stuff.
We'll definitely have you back on, dude. So
like I see some people talking orthopedic surgery. I've got all kinds of them. I'm up to 22 now.
22. See,
22 surgeries and 32 pieces of metal.
I feel like that is probably a common question all the time. How many injuries? What's your work injury?
Yeah. How many broken bones? I don't know, man. I forgot. I lost
dude,
track.
these BMX dudes are way they're gnarly, dude. They get tangled up. We noticed that about when we were on the Tony Hawk tour. When the skateboarders got the crash, they got the like 98% of the time knee slide out of stuff. But when the BMX dudes crashed, they didn't get the knee slide out of nothing. They had to hit the mat, and they hit it hard.
We always said there's a quick one. The skaters could crash 100 times and get hurt once. BMXers will crash like 25 times and get hurt 2 or 3 times. Moto dudes crash like twice and they get seriously hurt.
Yeah,
half of those times because you guys are falling out of the sky.
Yeah, we try not to crash because it's usually bad when it goes wrong. So we probably the skateboarders probably crash the most, the BMX guys the next, and then the moto guys the least. But it's usually
But it's
we
the
get
worst.
we get right down.
You crash the least, but you get hurt the most.
That makes sense.
Not into that.
Well, hey, you guys go out and get a dirt bike. It's good stuff. Well, hey, thanks again for hanging out, guys. We're going to be back same time, same place, next week, 7 p.m. Central Time. If you have not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and we'll have Chad back real soon. And we'll see if we can get some of the other boys on here. All right, man. Much love. Ride safe, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.